Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Again, I am your host, Liv Harrison. If you are watching me on YouTube, hello. You might notice I have some headphones on. We'll get to that in a second. If you're not watching, I've got headphones on. You're listening on the Veritas app, or you're listening at 1350 a.m., which is also Veritas, or you're listening on all of the things you can listen on because of Fireside. So thank you, Fireside. But I want to say I'm excited about this next guest. This is my first digital guest. Whether this airs first, second, third, 58th, I don't care, because here's the thing. It's the first to me, okay? And this woman has been instrumental. Doesn't that sound so mature? She has been instrumental in my growth as a professional. But here's what's great. We're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the things that we don't normally get to talk about. If you want to know all the incredible things that this woman does, like about her 8 kids, or maybe her amazing book, The Possibility Mom, or maybe her amazing conference, The Possibility Mom Conference, or maybe her work with the Women's School, or, whatever, you go online and find her. Her name is Lisa Canning. She is extraordinary. She has saved my life. That might sound a little strong, but it's also not that wrong. I really want everyone, I'm going to pretend you're here in an audience, to cheer and welcome for Lisa Canning out of Florida. Lisa, hello.
I'm so happy to be here. What a warm welcome. Thank you for that.
I hope all that was true.
I'll take it, even if it's not, because it sounds really, really positive.
Perfect. I have now known you for about, maybe we're coming up on a year, maybe. Actually, I think that's true, because I actually found out about you from a mutual friend, Jennifer Fulweiler. You might remember her. You've met her a few times. In fact, you just saw her not that long ago. Jen's doing stand-up comedy and you went and saved her. That's a funny story. In fact, I'd love... Listen, Lisa, this is a late night show. Okay, this is not your typical show. I don't want to know what you read in the catechism. I know you have one, but I want to hear the good stuff, and let's get right to it. You saw our friend Jennifer Fulweiler on her tour, and I'll set it up for you, okay? I'll do the heavy lifting, so you just come in with the punchline. You're ready, Lisa. You're ready. Okay. This was on the internet. So that means it's fair game, right? Like that means it's already, it's already public. All right, everybody, here's the deal. Jen, if you're not following Jen, you should. Not that you need me to tell you, my 4 followers to go follow Jen. I'm just kidding. I love all of you. But Jen is now a stand-up comedian. I actually talked about her in my very first episode. I tell the story how I got started, and she's actually the entire way I have a career. So Jen is now doing stand-up comedy. We've actually done comedy together before. She's doing a lot better at it than I am. She's continued. And she's on tour again. Okay. The great pause happened. That's how I describe it, Lisa. I don't say the words. And she has this whole bit about team check bag, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that, where she gets on an airplane and she checks her luggage. And she has this big thing going online. If you're not there, go. She puts polls. I don't know. She insists on checking bags. Now, her bag got lost and she had to go on stage. This is where Lisa Canning comes in, everybody. And this is where I want you to fill her DMs telling her how she is the best friend ever. Because Lisa, when she didn't get her bag, that meant she was missing some essential things. What were some things you brought to her at this show, Lisa? Share with the public.
The things that friends bring, some hair ties, some makeup for the stage, maybe a t-shirt, and then some underwear. And I gotta tell you, so she texted me. We had been trying to figure out, can we get together like outside the show, blah, blah, blah. I drove about 3 hours to go see her.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she texted me. She was like, listen, we're for sure going to have a hug, at the very least, we're going to work this out, but I have a huge favor. Can you please pick up a pack of underwear. You know, like, can you please go to like Walmart or Target, somewhere like easy, and get a pack of underwear, like the inexpensive kind. Okay. So I was like, of course I'm going to help you out. But in my head, I was like, you're not getting a pack of underwear. Like, you are I can't remember exactly how old she is, but like, I was like, little girls get packs of underwear. Like, I'm going to buy you really nice underwear. You know what I mean? Now, no offense to anyone who buys the 5-pack of whatever brand.
We all have them. We all have them for those days.
I'm sure. Yes, but no. No, I am such a big believer in investing in the nicest underwear one can buy. Okay, so then the funny story is that
I love it.
So I live in a very small town that I actually tried to shop locally for underwear for her.
Like a boutique, like a lingerie store. I need to know what you were doing. I need to know that you walked into stores in Ave Maria. I want people to know where you are. You're in Ave Maria, Southern Florida, which, yes, everybody, that is the Ave Maria with the university, which is a very conservative Catholic university. I'm guessing they don't have a student lingerie store. I'm just putting that out there. So Lisa, where was it that you decided to go?
You can't buy underwear anywhere in Ave Maria. Like, I went to every store. We have one women's boutique. I didn't go to the other one. I probably could have, maybe at the other one. I don't know. I went to the grocery store. I went to the campus bookstore because I was like.
The campus bookstore?
You know what I mean? Socks there. They sell socks at the campus bookstore. So I was like, maybe there's like emergency underwear. Anyway, so
wait a second. What's the mascot? I got to know, what is the Ave Maria mascot that if they did sell Ave Maria, which now Ave Maria is taking notes because we all know that they're listening or watching, and they're like, campus underwear, that's something no Catholic school is going to do that. But go ahead. What is the mascot? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll find out.
I don't know. Actually, I should know this. I'm a very
all right.
proud.
So there's no underwear at the campus bookstore to all the students that are listening.
I was gonna go to the gas station, but I was like, no. You know what I mean? I was like, no. So I was like, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop, and we're gonna find nice ladies' underwear. We're just gonna find it.
That's great.
But then the funny thing is that, like I said, 3 hours, there was a huge thunderstorm about an hour or so in. And I remember, you know, sometimes you're driving like white knuckled, like, oh my gosh. And, you know, there was a good period where I was like, oh, should we pull over? Like, maybe like.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was
for
scary.
Jen Fulweiler to have underwear, everybody. Like you want Lisa Canning in a foxhole with you. That's what I want everybody to take away from this moment. If you're going through the apocalypse, you call Lisa Canning.
I will get you nice underwear. Like, not 5-pack economy underwear. I will get you the nicest underwear that money can buy. So
I can't. This is great.
I shared this because of time. So the comedy show started at like, I don't know, 7:30 or something like that. And we left with enough time. But because of the rain and because of my knuckle driving for a period, obviously wanting to be safe, I was like, okay, we got to make up some time here. So it worked out. We found a Target right off the highway. So I was like, okay, convenient. We are in and we are out. Turns out it's actually like, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but it takes it's a lot of time. Like, when you want to get the nicer underwear
at Target,
they're in like little folded areas. All the size that I thought she was like basically sold out, you know, and I don't know. I mean, this is going deep, Liv, but like, you know, you don't want to get like, I wanted to just get the most normal, beautiful underwear I could get. I don't want to get anything like frilly or like, I don't know.
She already has 6 kids, Lisa. She's not looking to have more. She already has 6. I mean, we're pro-life, you know. I mean, everybody.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, well, I have to get kind of like, I want to get normal, pretty underwear. They didn't have that much normal, pretty underwear. Like,
it's
a lot
Target,
of things,
Lisa.
lacy. I don't know but it's just the truth. I couldn't find it. They probably sold out. I don't know. And then we were in such a time rush. But there was this sweet mom, and I could kind of tell she was like maybe on like a break, like, you know, meaning like she was taking a break from like her children or what have you. I'm totally.
This was her moment out.
This was her moment out. And I was kind of like, she was right in front of the area that I needed to be. and she was taking a lot of time also because it was hard to find the exact size. And I just was like, oh my gosh, I kept looking at my phone. I was like, we got to go. I gotta be at the show.
Did you knock her down? Did you sweep the leg? I need to know how Karate Kid we got in this situation.
Like that's a new skill that I do not currently have, but thankfully she found what she needed.
Oh,
I was able
jeez.
to go and find what I needed. And then that is the story of how
And-
Full Wire got clean, beautiful, non-economy pack underwear
From Target.
from Target.
And I bet Jen was very appreciative. She doesn't even know. And you guys heard it here on It's Not That Late. The backstory to Jen Fulweiler's comedy tour underwear. You're welcome, everybody. Is this how I get canceled? I just want to know.
Oh my God.
But Lisa, listen, here's the thing. You, my friend, are not new to television. You are not new to radio. You're not new to being in the limelight. I want people to know, because a lot of the people that are listening are probably Catholic. You know, that's probably where they found me. That's probably where they found you. And hey, hi, how you doing? But for all the ones that are not, okay, which I'm so excited you're here. I want you here. Why don't you give us a little background about your non-Catholic start in this whole entertainment place?
Sure.
Because I've made up a whole thing in my head and I tell people, I'd like to hear the true story.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay, well, I'll start with the very beginning. I went to a performing arts high school where I was a visual art major. And so the drama kids, the dancers, they were always the ones on stage. I was the one like making the sets or, drawing in my notebook. But I also had a interest and aptitude in leadership and public speaking. So I was the student council president. I was often speaking in front of the student body or in front of parents. And one of the moms came up to me and was like, Lisa, like, this was like grade 12, my senior year of high school. She was like, you have got to be on TV. Like, has anyone ever told you that?
Where was this mom for me my whole life? Like, that's fine, Lisa. I'm happy for you. Okay. So I didn't expect to get jealous so quickly into this story.
Please. It's, oh my goodness.
I'm teasing. So she tells you need to be on TV.
And I was like, oh, well, Mrs. DeCastro, like, I don't even know what that means at the time. So we're talking like I graduated high school 2000 and, oh my word, 2003.
And this is Canada?
In Canada.
Canada.
Mm-hmm. So there wasn't this sort of personality, like the Instagram, becoming a social media influencer of any kind just simply didn't exist. If you were on TV, you were an actor or you were like a news agent, or maybe you were a spokesperson for a brand. So in my head, I was like, this doesn't really compute, but thank you so much. And she kind of insisted. And she really, throughout that whole year that I was student council president, she really encouraged me. And finally, towards graduation, she introduced me to a production company that was looking for new talent for an HGTV Canada show. And they particularly wanted somebody who had never done interior design, someone who was very, very green, to design an entire home, including the kitchen, for $30,000. It was just sort of this very let's trial by fire entertainment.
That's insane. You're 18 years old and they were like, that seems like a really good bet.
Yeah. And so
that's incredible.
It was like just this interesting, experiment. I did a couple things with them. And then that turned into a television show called Marriage Under Construction. And that is how I launched my HGTV career. And that was at the end of my college experience. So I did a couple little TV things throughout college, but then at the end of college, they were like, we want you as a regular host for this show. And now what was so funny was I thought this was going to be my summer job. Like I remember after college, I was just like, I studied fashion communications. I thought I was going to work in journalism or do something in fashion. And I thought that I would just sort of do TV for a very quick stint and then get back to my actual, career pursuits. Well, little did I know that there were God had very different plans for me, and a whole bunch of people called. So the show aired. It ended up airing I think it aired in like 56 countries, something like that.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
A bunch
gosh.
of people called as the season went on and as the season wrapped. asking me to come and design their homes. And I had no idea, Liv, what I was doing. I had zero idea, to be very frank, how to design homes. I had zero idea what it looked like to run an interior design business. But
And that's not what you got your degree in. You didn't
no,
you're not
no,
an interior designer degree person.
no,
That's
I
not
had
a word. Okay.
you're close. I'm sure someone has a word like that, but yeah, my degree
You're
was in.
just talented inside. So wait, here's what I've heard. You got discovered and you're talented and beautiful. Yeah, go ahead, Lisa. I want to keep hearing about your amazing story.
Gosh, Liv Harrison, you
I'm
crack.
sorry. I think you're amazing. I'm a fan.
I'm a fan of yours too. So then that's what started my interior design career, and then I worked
Wow.
in front of the camera a little bit and behind the camera. It was actually my behind the camera career that was very interesting and very fulfilling. It just took me, my behind the camera experience is what took me on a lot of adventures. And so I worked the role is called production designer. I worked for several seasons with the Property Brothers. I ended up helping to produce and art direct their book, Dream Home. I traveled across the United States and Canada designing for families for HGTV shows. It was a really, really interesting experience, both getting to know the interior design world, but also the production design for television world. I loved, loved, loved production design for TV.
Good, because I might know someone who needs some production design for their YouTube channel. I don't know. I'll connect you guys. Did everybody see that? That's watching and everybody listening who's listening. That would be me asking Lisa Canning shamelessly. Lisa, here's what I also want to know. When, though, in your life did you make a pivot, right? Like this show, I'm really trying to encourage people to be extraordinary. That's a big thing with me. Okay. Be extraordinary. I'm giving you permission to be extraordinary. Give yourself permission to be extraordinary. When did you give yourself permission to be extraordinary? By leaving that
Yeah.
TV career.
Yeah. I was, I like to describe it. I describe it in my book, The Possibility Mom. Like I had 2 feet very firmly planted in 2 very different worlds. I had 1 foot very firmly planted in the world of interior design, lifestyle TV, um, being a working entrepreneurial mom. And I had lots of colleagues who would, leave their kids in daycare. They would travel. They would, just were very, very busy in their careers, easily working, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus weeks. And that was just sort of normal. Like I kind of observed that they would take on these large projects, sometimes in other cities. And it was just sort of normal that they would sometimes leave their family and what have you. And so I had 1 foot very firmly planted. I mean, I was told fairly blatantly, to be very careful about how many children I had because how that would impact my TV career. So I had 1 foot very firmly planted in that world. But then I had my other foot very firmly planted in a world of stay-at-home motherhood, a world of homeschooling moms. I was always very Catholic throughout my adulthood, um, but definitely had lots of questions about how to do this whole mom of many thing. And so I always felt like I kind of didn't belong in either camp, like I didn't really desire to spend that much time away from my kids, but I kind of felt like this is just what you did. And then I didn't always feel like my desire to work was sort of met with the same enthusiasm with some of my moms in that camp. They just simply couldn't relate or they weren't interested or what have you. And so I always felt like I didn't totally belong in either camp. And everything came to a crushing implosion one day when I was sitting in my minivan. I had just given birth to my daughter Rose, and literally 7 days out of hospital, I still had the epidural band-aid in my back. I don't think I had even cut off the hospital, bracelet on my wrist. I had put such enormous pressure on myself to just show everyone that you could do it all, that you could have it all, that you could be this career woman with a bunch of kids in tow. I was trying to prove to all of my, working interior design career friends that family life could look awesome, easy, beautiful. I was trying to prove to all of my stay-at-home homeschooling mom friends that, a career could be so edifying and so life-giving. And what happens when we try to prove things to other people?
It goes
Nobody.
really well. Slam dunk. Oh, that was not the setup?
You know, that's
Sarcasm,
no, it happened
Lisa.
to me. What happened to me was
No,
I was completely exhausted.
it's awful. Yeah.
It was just awful, and
Yeah.
everything came to an implosion that day in my minivan. And I just remember sitting there, you know, with this infant baby with like bags under my eyes, feeling so exhausted, literally screaming to God, there has got to be another way. I know you didn't call me to be this miserable, but there has got to be a way that I can pursue my dreams, because you wouldn't have given them to me if, you know, I wasn't supposed to use them in some way. But there's also got to be a way that it's not at the expense of my health, my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my small kids. And so what I did from that point on, I affectionately call it my minivan meltdown in my book, The Possibility.
I like
From that
that.
Minivan meltdown time onward, I basically just like grabbed hold of anything I could in terms of productivity, personal development. I started to set boundaries in my schedule. I started to change the way I did my interior design business to more consultation only, so that I could control the calendar.
Mm.
I could control how much time I was away from my children. And what was so interesting was that people started to notice. People started to, like, my colleagues, the ones that I kind of, you know, in the past was sort of envious of the apparent quote unquote freedom that I saw that they sort of appeared to have. They would kind of like pull me aside in hushed corners of conferences and hotel lobbies and fancy restaurants, you know, in downtown Toronto, and they would be like, I am miserable, and it really seems like you're not miserable anymore. And
Wow.
I kind of just started to, you know,
Wow.
would get it from colleagues, and I would also get it from my clients. So I would do these 2-hour interior design consultations where I would come in, rather than me implement the project for you, I would simply give you a plan. I would be like, here's who you're going to call for the kitchen. Here's where you're going to get the tile. You're going to get this exact SKU number, you know, and so on and so forth. And it would be so interesting because it would happen almost every time. You know, I'd be talking to a mom. She was often, you know, a busy corporate kind of mom. She may have had one or two kids. And inevitably at some point in the interior design consult, I could see it. There would always be like a look.
Wait, you know what? You know what? I want you to pause for 2 seconds because I need to take a break. I want people to want to come back to hear about this look and what you said and how this changed. Because we're gonna finish this story and then you and I are gonna play a game. So you're gonna want to come back and listen. What is it that Lisa found extraordinary when she left TV? Come back. You're listening to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. Welcome back to It's Not That Late with Liv Harrison. I'm your host, Liv Harrison, and we are talking to the talented and amazing, extraordinary, gorgeous mother of 8, the possibility mom herself, Lisa Canning. Now, I had to sadly stop Lisa, or not, you know what, not sadly, excitingly stop Lisa in the middle of her story. If you are watching me on YouTube, hello, welcome back. If you're listening on Veritas, I want to say thank you for listening, whether you're on the app or if you're listening to the radio. And if you're listening on a podcast, hello, welcome. We have tried to do all the things. So let's get back to this story, Lisa. They don't want to hear me talk. They want to hear your amazing story. You're telling me about how you gave yourself permission to be extraordinary by leaving your really cool, famous, amazing, I pretend you're in a jet. You're basically Paris Hilton to me. HGTV, interior design, production TV job, right? Career. And you started working with people one-on-one, I think is where you were at. You were doing some consulting. You had some children. You pick it up. I feel like I'm failing. It's your story.
You know, these moms in interior design consults, they would inevitably stop and look at me and say, can we just talk about how you do it? And I would always be a bit confused, but well, what do you mean? And they would just ask again and again, I don't understand. I feel overwhelmed with my schedule, with my 1 to 2 kids. You have many children, but you seem peaceful, happy, and you're able to juggle many things. What is your secret? And so as I started to get this question asked so many times, I realized, okay, there's something here. what can I do to help people? And that was really where the Possibility Mom was born, how to be a great mom and pursue your dreams at the same time. So I wrote the book, and then I sort of very organically and gradually phased out interior design and started speaking, coaching, and working with women. I primarily work with women in personal development and business development, and I use tools that the Women's School offers to do some of that in a group coaching context. And then the many years that I have been pursuing building wealth via a more traditional business, interior design, and then more recent years building an online business, I've been teaching the women I work with how to build wealth for their families without guilt. I think for me, that's the biggest thing. How can we do whatever it is that we're called to do, whether it is the dream that you have in your heart with your family, a dream to build wealth? How do we do that without guilt? Because we are all
I love
called.
that.
And
I love that.
I think there are many things that can hold us back from being extraordinary. And one of the biggest things is what's happening between our ears and the lies, truthfully, that we tell ourselves around why we cannot do something. So that's really the Possibility Mom platform is really all about pursuing, well, what is possible rather than asking the questions of, oh my gosh, like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, this should be enough. I feel so guilty. Rather than having all those swim in our heads, why don't we just simply ask the question, well, how could I do this? What could it look like? Because there truly is a path for all of us to discover our extraordinary selves, and it's all going to look different for everyone.
So basically, you're still an interior designer, but now you do an interior of a woman. Do you like that? You can maybe make something out of that, Lisa.
But that's darn honest truth. I used
No,
to
you do. And I have to say, I'm a product. You've been my business coach in the past and hoping that we work together in the future. And I'm a product. So you guys, if you don't like my work, you can blame Lisa Canning. So that's what I got from that.
Write me the letters.
That's right. You fill up her comment section. Okay. It's Lisa's fault.